Hello, everyone. Walk Hill Bethelite here. And let's build on this topic of Jehovah's Witnesses being either unintelligent or not good people, or they're PMO, or they're physically in, mentally out, or they decide not to follow all the Jehovah's Witness doctrine. You have Jehovah's Witnesses that they call themselves Jehovah's Witnesses, but they pick and choose which doctrines they will and won't follow, such as the shunning. They're Jehovah's Witnesses that will not follow the shunning policy because they know it's cruel. They know it's bad. There are people in that religion that can't even stomach the concept of just dropping family, dropping friends, dropping anybody who decides they don't want to attend that religion anymore. So people tend to fall under those categories, right? Some of them, I'm not saying all of them are stupid. I'm saying some of them are. Some of them just aren't good people. They know it's wrong. They're just not good people. And then some of them are PMO. They're physically in. Basically, they're held prisoner by their family because they know that they'll be shunned or abused by their family if they're open about, hey, I don't want to go to this particular church. And then there are some who, because the doctrines are so bad, they don't follow them all. That's what we're dealing with, right? They're all kind of in that same pot somewhere, right? It's almost like you have a stew. You put your spoon in that stew, you got some meat in that spoon, you got some carrot, you got some potato, you got a mix of different things, but they are all one of those ingredients that you put in that stew. And Jehovah's Witnesses, the ingredients that are in that religion are stupid people, people who wouldn't be able to figure out if somebody was telling them the truth or not anyway, people who aren't good people. They like having authority over people and not having to have had any kind of religious formal training. They just like the titles and things like that. They don't care that it's wrong. PMO, the people who are physically in and mentally out, and they're trapped because of the stupid people, and the B, the people who know it's wrong and don't care. And then C, you got the people who they're in it, but man, they just can't shun people. They can't do all the things that religion tells them to do, because you have to be either stupid or a bad person to do it, right? Those are the ingredients that are in the organization of Jehovah's Witnesses. When you put your spoon in that stew and pull your spoon out, it's going to be one or the other of those ingredients. We're not talking about the kids, the kids that are in that we don't know if they're going to leave or not. But that's pretty much typically what you're dealing with inside Jehovah's Witnesses. One or the other of the things that I've described. If I'm missing something, comment down below. If I'm missing one of the ingredients inside that cult, comment down below what I'm missing here, because there could be something I didn't think of. But one of the reasons, when I talk about how Jehovah's Witnesses are not good people, and A, stupid, one, or B, not good people, one of the reasons that the Jehovah's Witness, the ex-Jehovah's Witness community, is so active, is so voiceful. It's not just because they're in a religion that taught something that they don't think is true. Right? Because there are people who are former Baptists. There are people who are former Catholic. There are people who are former Scientologists. There are people who are former Latter-day Saints or Mormon, and the Mormons are twice the size, if not even larger than Jehovah's Witnesses are. So why are former Jehovah's Witnesses, or sometimes what we will call ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, the people who are Watchtower whistleblowers, why are they more active than any of all these other groups? 100 times more active than any of these other groups. Why is this community a community that is more active than any other? Partially, it's because of the abuse that former Jehovah's Witnesses have gone through. We have been abused to a level that only people who were also former members can understand the level of abuse that we come from. And so we socialize in groups of other former Jehovah's Witnesses as a way to be able to relate to people. Right? As a way to be able to tell our stories, to talk about what happened to us. This ain't just a group of people who were in a religion and then they found out what they were teaching wasn't right. No, that's not true. When I say Jehovah's Witnesses are not good people, look at the former Jehovah's Witnesses as proof. Look at the former Jehovah's Witnesses and what they talk about. Jehovah's Witnesses took their children. They took their kids. They went in the courtroom and lied and took their kids because this cult realized this person didn't want to be a member. So we're going to take your kids and try to make them Jehovah's Witnesses. We'll lie in court about you in order to do that to you. There are people who were beaten as kids because they couldn't sit through a whole meeting, a whole boring meeting, because Jehovah's Witnesses don't care enough to have a place for the kids to go, the really young kids to go, and be able to learn and do activities and color and do things that kids like to do. They want the kids to be in there with the adults. They want the kids to be in there with the adults talking about how God is going to kill everybody on the planet but Jehovah's Witnesses, and Jehovah's Witnesses are going to be picking up dead bodies and birds are going to be eating the flesh off of the human corpses. They want the kids in there listening to this. These are these good people. These are bad people. That's the reason why. So they'll beat their kids. Growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, you would just see one kid after the other being picked up and taken to the bathroom to get beaten because they fell asleep during the meeting. Because their parents just randomly asked them, right? Let me know if you remember this growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, where your parents just randomly do an audit on you to see if you're paying attention. They'll just whisper, "What paragraph are we on?" And then the Jehovah's Witness child is nervous and scared because they know if they look at that watchtower and say the wrong paragraph, say your parent asks you, "What paragraph are we on?" And this kid who's just a child, 3, 4 years, 5 years, or basically of an age where they would be able to basically read somewhat. This child, if they answer the wrong paragraph because they don't know what paragraph they're on because they were daydreaming or doing what kids do, they know their parent will either hit them right there in their seat or pick them up, take them to the bathroom, and beat them. These are not good people. Nobody's kids will sit through a 2-hour-long meeting with adults just talking away about stuff, and none of it is designed to keep the child's attention. When I talk about they're either too dumb to know that kids can't really pay attention to these sorts of adult conversations, or B, they're not good people and they don't care, and they take their kids and they want everybody to see them take their kids and beat them in the bathroom because they want a title. They want to look like they're raising their kids in the Jehovah's Witness fashion so that they can get a title, ministerial servant, an elder. They don't care about their kids. They use their kids to be able to look good in order to get a title. These aren't good people. The whole concept that what Jehovah's Witnesses look forward to, what most Christians would look forward to, would be the second coming of Christ. Some would look forward to going to heaven. You know, some would look forward to different things like that. What Jehovah's Witnesses look forward to is Armageddon. When they talk about it's right around the corner, it's coming, it's right around the corner. What are they talking about? Armageddon. What happens during Armageddon? Remember, because I was saying that Jehovah's Witnesses are either stupid or not good people. And, you know, I got to keep it real, right? But then whenever there's somebody that keeps it real, there's somebody that always has a problem with the truth. No, well, you can't say they're not good people. Yeah, I can, and I can give you plenty of examples of it. Armageddon, the day they all are looking forward to, the day that they constantly are saying is right around the corner. What happens during Armageddon? This is the day everybody that's not a Jehovah's Witness dies, and dies horribly. They're all murdered. Everybody on the planet. So that's the vast majority of the planet. Billions of people murdered, dead, destruction everywhere you look. Dead bodies everywhere you look. Jehovah's Witnesses look forward to the day when they're able to get together in car groups, not to give out watchtowers, but get together in car groups and start picking up dead bodies and figuring out where to put them. And these are the people we're talking about here. The people who abuse within the Jehovah's Witness organization is so bad. It is so bad that they have got the most active group of former members than any other religion. I'm telling you, you pick one, pick a religion, pick any one, and we'll look at the ex-members, right? The ex-members of that group and see if they are as active as the former members of Jehovah's Witnesses, right? Because when we leave this cult, we need somebody to talk to. It's that bad. So how could a cult that bad that just traumatizes the members, right? So bad that when we leave, we got to get together with other former members to deal with this trauma and end up forming the largest community of former members there are on earth, or most active group, I should say, of former members there are on earth. I mean, think about it. If Jehovah's Witnesses do that much damage, it's probably true what Marcus is saying. You got members who are just stupid and they cognitively can't figure out what the heck's wrong with what's going on. And then you got the people who just don't care. They know they're doing this level of damage to people. They just don't care. And that is probably the majority. That is the majority. When I was at Bethel, I was living with all Jehovah's Witnesses, right? Everybody in the facility was a Jehovah's Witness. So that puts me in a position where I am able to speak as a person who for years lived only with Jehovah's Witnesses, worked only with Jehovah's Witnesses, ate meals only with Jehovah's Witnesses. If anybody knows the character of Jehovah's Witnesses, it would be people who lived amongst a community of only Jehovah's Witnesses for years. I'm telling you, when I was at my morning worship table, and of course they all know I'm new, I'm the quote unquote new boy. When I'm at my table, you got your table head and you got everybody else at the table, and they all know you're new. Does anybody care that you're new? Of everybody at my morning worship table, these are the people that you see every day of the week, for crying out loud. How many of them asked me how things are going as far as me acclimating to Bethel? How many of them so much as went to go visit my room? How many of them even asked where my room was? Right? I mean, some of these things are things that people just of just natural human concern would do. Right? So how's things going for you at Bethel so far? You know what I mean? You got any questions? You know, is it anything you want to ask us? We've all been here for years. You just got here. Anything you want to ask? No. Right? No, they don't. None of them asked that. The only person that invited me to their house, or not house, I'm sorry, room, was an older guy who I believe, and I don't want to get into the reasons why, because that would take time to explain. I've got so many reasons to believe this. I think the guy was sexually attracted to me. I think there's plenty of guys at Bethel that are sexually attracted to the newer young men coming in to Bethel. And they, you know what I mean? They try to get them in their rooms and stuff like that. So yeah, that happened to me. The guy gave me a beer and all that stuff, tried to get me to stay in his room, talking about his roommate wasn't going to come back that night and whatnot. And of course I left. I ain't staying in here with you. But other than the gay guy trying to have sex with the new people coming in, not that there's anything wrong with the you know, I'm just saying nobody else cared. Nobody at the morning worship table. Never. I'm talking the years I was at Bethel. Never was there any concern. And I told them that I was working on my car. Matter of fact, that's another bit of proof. Bethel, I'm telling you, I'm living all amongst Jehovah's Witnesses, and this is how they treat you. Bethel has got an auto shop. Well, when my car, the car I used for field service, the car I used for Watchtower's activities, the car I used to get to Bethel, had an issue with the alternator. Alternator goes out. I'm not a mechanic, but Bethel has got a whole auto shop full of mechanics, and none of them would help. There's some policy where they don't want to help anybody unless your car, once you get it to Bethel, first passes inspection and you've, I guess, driven it for them for a while, and then they'll help you work on it. Right? Dude, I've been driving that car for Watchtower for years. I pioneered before I even got to Bethel. What do you mean? That car has been used for Watchtower before I even became a Bethelite. And you mean to tell me I'm in an auto shop? I get the car towed to the Bethel auto shop, and they see me struggling to try to figure out how to fix my car. I'm not even a mechanic, and I'm under the freaking hood surrounded by mechanics. And none of them would help. Advice? Nobody can even look at it? All it was an alternator. I thought it was the battery. I pulled the battery out. I'm not a mechanic. I don't know not to just leave the battery sitting on the side of the car. I pulled the battery out, set it on the side of the car so I can try to get the new battery in. The old battery falls off the car, hits the ground, explodes, battery acid everywhere. You cannot tell me it wasn't blatantly obvious this dude needs help. No, it was a whole auto shop full of Jehovah's Witnesses. You can't say it was worldly people because there ain't no worldly people at Bethel. It was an auto shop full of Jehovah's Witnesses, and not one of them. Not one of them. You need any help? These are Jehovah's Witnesses. Right? Most Jehovah's Witnesses have this view that all Jehovah's Witnesses are good people because their experience with Jehovah's Witnesses oftentimes is what they read in a Watchtower, what they saw on one of the broadcasts, or a video they watched about Jehovah's Witnesses and about how happy everyone was. That's a video that Watchtower produced and put out to give to Jehovah's Witnesses. Or what they know about Jehovah's Witnesses is what they saw at the Kingdom Hall, right? Where people would give a comment, and then somebody would say, oh, good comment. That's all they know about Jehovah's Witnesses. Right? Or their own family. They don't really know. The people, I'm telling you, the people that know about Jehovah's Witnesses are the people who lived with them. You can't learn any more about Jehovah's Witnesses other than living with them and working with them, and everything you do with them. Because at Wallkill, this wasn't like Brooklyn, where you leave one of the buildings at Brooklyn and it's all people who aren't Jehovah's Witnesses there, right? They're in the middle of New York city, a city full of people who aren't Jehovah's Witnesses. Wallkill, the farm, there ain't nobody there but Jehovah's Witnesses on that property. You got to drive somewhere to get somewhere to where there ain't Jehovah's Witnesses. So everything I experienced, it was all Jehovah's Witnesses. And it wasn't just me. Other Bethelites, there was one Bethelite that came in with me, and you know what he did to make friends? You know, remember what I told you about your morning worship table? I guess this should be your first group of friends when you get to Bethel, is the people in your entrance school and your morning worship table. But remember what I told you about the morning worship table? The people who don't care about you at all? Well, he's trying to figure out how to make friends. How does he make friends? He uses what money he had when he got to Bethel, because of course a lot of us work before coming to Bethel, so we have some money before we go broke working for free. He used that money to buy cereal. He invite people. Hey, would you like some Fruit Loops? You know what I mean? We can eat some Fruit Loops. Yeah, then they'll go and follow him. There were times where we didn't have to sit at our morning worship table. He would use those times to bring, snacks. He bought friends. A Jehovah's Witness had to buy friends at Bethel. Let this sink in. We had whole discussions about how hard it was to make friends at Bethel. And he decided, hey, if I buy them, it's I got to do what I got to do. You know what I mean? Getting left at Bethel when it's time to go to your meeting. That is a regular occurrence. For people who are new, but when you're new, oftentimes you don't have everything established yet. How you're going to get to this hall that's 45 minutes to an hour away, you haven't established that yet. You're still learning all that stuff. You're still learning your Bethel schedule and routine. So it's not unusual for somebody who is new at Bethel to get left at Bethel, because all the people who they're supposed to ride with to get to the hall didn't call, didn't check on them, don't know where they are, and just decided to up and leave. That happened to me a lot when my car was down. So Marcus, how did your car go down? And, everybody at Bethel pretty much just turned the cold shoulder because they don't care. But then your congregation, well, how does your congregation turn the cold shoulder? Well, they stopped seeing you at the meeting. And Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't call and check up on you. Hell, your own family don't call and check up on you, let alone your average Jehovah's Witness at the hall. So there was a few meetings they didn't see me, right? Well, nobody's going to call. Nobody's going to check. Nobody's going to find out if you're okay. They just up and start assuming things. They just start up and assuming, well, I guess he just doesn't want to come to meetings. These are Jehovah's Witnesses. They're not good people. There's no doctrine inside Jehovah's Witnesses that says you can't call and check on somebody if you have not seen them at a meeting to find out if they're okay before you just start assuming things. That's not a doctrine. That's just what people who aren't good people naturally do. They naturally just assume stuff because they don't care to check. So I get to Bethel and I finally get to the hall, and now I got to explain to people that I'm at Bethel with an auto shop attached to the facility, and I can't get nobody who's a fellow Jehovah's Witness to help me with my freaking alternator. My father, who was not a Jehovah's Witness, who owned an auto shop, came and helped me with my car. Because if he had not come and helped me with my car, I'd just been a Jehovah's Witness I'd just been a Bethelite with no car. Absolutely no car. Why? Because I'm in a facility full of 1,000 Jehovah's Witnesses and nobody gave a flip to even be able to help. So I had a relative who's not a Jehovah's Witness have to drive hours away to come help me with my car, because it's loving brotherhood. They lie about that. And when I say they lie about it, they're not exaggerating a little bit. They're exaggerating a lot. This loving brotherhood wouldn't help me with an alternator, and I bought the part. I'm not saying I wanted Bethel to pay for it. I bought the part. I just needed one of the many mechanics they had there to help me, show me how to put it in. It wouldn't even have taken that long. It don't even take that long to put in an alternator. I have got so much proof that Jehovah's Witnesses are not good people that it is just unreal. It's not just that, but it's when people leave Bethel. Bethel don't know where they go. Bethel don't care. Bethel only found out where I went to send me a bill for some fruit and a juice, right? Bethel will find you if they want to send you a bill. Look at what happened to Raymond Franz. He gave his life to Watchtower and how they treat him. Right? The whole organization turned their back on him. Nobody had a problem with that. Why? These aren't good people. That's why they didn't have a problem with treating that poor man like that. This is an older man by this time. And they all turned their back on him and nobody cared. This doesn't happen anywhere other than a place where it's full of people who just, they're not that nice of a group of people. They're nice if they're trying to get you in the cult. Right? It's called love bombing. They're nice when they try to get you in the cult. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. 937-789-4029. A lot of us are good people. Why? Because we left. When we saw the things that were going on, our conscience wouldn't let us just stay and pretend that it wasn't happening. So we left. Watchtower, this cult, Jehovah's Witnesses, the cult is designed to sift through the good people. If they're good people, you're going to get sifted out of the cult. If you have some level of intelligence, you're going to get sifted out of the cult. You're either good, you're not a good person, or you're dumb, or you're PMO, or you just don't follow all the teachings. It's one or the other. Comment down below. XWall Kill Bethelite signing out.